She boarded the plane with her baby pressed against her chest, hoping for a peaceful journey, never imagining the humiliation that awaited her. Passengers barely noticed the quiet mother in simple clothes. Still, one flight attendant watched her with cold suspicion, as if her very presence was an inconvenience. The tension grew when turbulence struck and her baby started crying, drawing unwanted attention. Moments later, the unimaginable happened, a slap so loud the cabin gasped. But the attendant had no idea who she had just laid hands on. What follows next will shock everyone. Watch until the end. Wait a second, let us know where you're watching from in the comments. And make sure to subscribe for more powerful and inspiring stories just like this one. Aisha was a soft-spoken woman who lived a modest life, despite being married to one of the wealthiest airline owners in the country. Her husband, Amir, always reminded her that she didn't need expensive clothes or special treatment to prove her worth. She loved simplicity, preferring quiet mornings with her baby over luxury events and attention. Traveling alone with her child was not new for her, and she always chose to blend in. Never revealing her identity, she boarded this flight expecting another quiet trip to visit her sister. She wore a faded sweater, comfortable shoes, and carried a single backpack with baby essentials. No one looking at her would imagine she had any connection to the airline, least of all the flight attendant assigned to her section. But something about Aisha's calm presence seemed to rub the attendant the wrong way. Creating an uneasy atmosphere before the plane even took off, the tension began subtly. The flight attendant, Marissa, glanced at Aisha with a look that hovered between irritation and suspicion. When Aisha politely asked for a blanket for her baby, Marissa responded with stiff body language as if doing her job was a burden. Several passengers noticed but said nothing. Aisha ignored it. She had experienced similar attitudes before and preferred peace over confrontation. Midway through the flight, turbulence hit. The plane jolted violently and passengers clutched their armrests. Aisha's baby woke up crying, trembling in fear. She rocked him gently, whispering soothing words, trying her best to calm him. But Marissa marched down the aisle as if the crying was a personal offense. She scolded Aisha for not controlling her child, her voice loud enough for the rows around them to hear. Aisha apologized softly, adjusting her baby's position. Instead of offering help or compassion, Marissa accused Aisha of disturbing passengers. She demanded that she stand in the galley until the baby quieted down, something altogether that was against safety rules. Aisha hesitated, knowing that standing during turbulence was dangerous. Her refusal angered Marissa, who stepped closer. Her face tightening with impatience, passengers exchanged uncomfortable glances, sensing the hostility. Aisha stayed calm, focusing on her baby's trembling hands. The turbulence eventually settled, but Marissa's anger didn't. When the baby continued to whimper, overwhelmed by the chaos, Marissa stormed toward Aisha again, this time with an intensity no one expected. The moment felt like a silent build-up to something terrible. Without warning, Marissa leaned forward and slapped Aisha across the face so sharply that the sound cut through the cabin like a whip. Gasps erupted from every row. Aisha froze, clutching her baby tightly, stunned by the violence and humiliation. Her cheek burned, but her first concern was the fear in her child's eyes. Passengers immediately reached for their phones, recording the horrifying moment as Marissa stood stiff. Suddenly realizing she had crossed a line no professionalism or excuse could defend. The captain was alerted, and whispers filled the aisles. Aisha remained silent, calm, and dignified, though tears welled in her eyes. No one knew why she wasn't reacting. No one knew who she really was. But the truth was minutes away from exploding across that cabin. When the plane landed, security and airline officials rushed on board after multiple passenger complaints and video evidence. Aisha quietly requested to speak with the airline's senior manager. As they escorted her to the private lounge, Marissa walked behind, trembling, confused by the sudden shift in treatment. Then Amir entered, the airline owner himself, Asha's husband. His eyes widened at the sight of her bruised cheek, and the room fell silent. Marissa collapsed to her knees, realizing she had assaulted the woman who could determine her future. But Aisha didn't demand revenge. Instead, she asked the airline to implement strict anti-discrimination and compassion training for all staff. Her calm strength changed the airline's policies forever. Her question to viewers: how many unseen injustices happen every day to people without power or status? Tell me, what country and city are you watching from? Take care.